Well, Henry Cavill is out as Superman. So Warner Brothers fired Henry Cavill as Superman. In typical douchey Hollywood fashion, they fired the man after bringing him back for a cameo in Black Adam, after announcing that Man of Steel was back on, and after getting Cavill to leave The Witcher. The man literally quit a job to get this one back, and you bumped him. Cavill released a statement about getting canned, saying, quote, "After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to James Gunn and Peter Safran's hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. No, that's Hollywood, and that's really fucked up. Not just because the man quit The Witcher to come back as Superman, although there are some rumors that he may have left the show over creative differences. It's also not just that the studio basically spoiled his cameo in Black Adam and then told him to tell everyone he was coming back. It's that they shafted this man for a decade. It's been almost 10 years since Man of Steel came out, and Cavill hasn't got a proper sequel. He co-starred in Batman vs. Superman and was barely in Justice League. Most people liked him as Superman and wanted to see him play the character as he'd been written for 80 years, not whatever Snyder was planning. Over the years, I've heard rumors about Cavill trying to get more creative control over the Superman films, and I wonder if that was part of the reason WB was so unwilling to bring him back. The studio also wanted to wash its hands of anything to do with Snyder's version of the DC characters. Obviously, that could have been an element at play, even if they wanted to keep Cavill. This does kind of answer my questions from my previous video, though, about the cast, because if they're bumping Cavill, I can't imagine they're keeping on everyone else. This has been somewhat confirmed by the Hollywood Reporter saying that Cavill and Gal Gadot's cameos in the Flash film are being cut. So this is basically the end of anything tied to the Snyderverse. That does leave some questions, though, about the Peacemaker show, because that's in that universe too, and it's James Gunn's brainchild. The weird part is that WB already said they would have separate universes for the films, so there's no reason that they couldn't do another Superman film with Cavill and just let it be its own thing. But that's Hollywood for you. They call you to get you back in, and then 2 months to the day, they fire you. Now, James Gunn announced in his version of events on Twitter that he's planning to do a feature film with a younger Superman. My understanding is that he's writing the script, but he may not direct it. I assume the movie will be good. Gunn's films usually are. The tone, however, that's a different story. I'm not sure how his usual edgy humor would play with Superman. As for Cavill, Gunn said in his tweets that he still wants to work with Cavill on other presumably DC-related projects. He said something similar about Patty Jenkins and Ben Affleck, where he wants them to direct something, just not anything they were previously involved with. Here's where it gets interesting. Ta-Nehisi Coates' Black Superman film hasn't been canceled. That's still a go, even though it probably won't fit into anything Gunn and Safran are planning. Of course, that film is being produced by J.J. Abrams, so you can see why WB might be hesitant to cancel it. I just thought it was worth pointing out that they're keeping the Superman film no one wants to see, but canceling the one everyone's wanted for a decade. Speaking of which, Disney, Cavill is available, and even though you're running the MCU into the ground, it's still making money. So if you're desperate for a quick cash grab, you can put Cavill into a Captain Britain costume and have him do a cameo in the show. You might want to call up The Rock too, because while he's probably pissed that Black Adam 2 likely isn't going to happen, he would make a great gladiator for your X-Men films. Hell, cast Gal Gadot as a Alondra, that would be perfect. And since I know y'all like race swapping, you can make Momoa the new Wolverine. That doesn't exactly work, but it's not like that'd bother you. I'm joking, of course, but it would be funny if Disney snatches up everyone WB is dropping. Now, there is another wrinkle in this, which is a rumor that Universal might buy Warner Brothers Discovery, which could upend all of this. I'm sure there'll be some antitrust or monopoly issues with that kind of merger, but the rumor is floating out there. Now, it's always possible that WB could change their minds, and Cavill could be back on as Superman for a particular film. Hollywood is fickle like that. But all that said, what they did to Cavill is fucked up. You don't lead the man on and then drop him, especially with him leaving the show supposedly to come back and work with you. I know that's typical Hollywood, but still, that's a douche move. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.